From Harrisonburg, Virginia, and on the campus of James Madison University at Veterans Memorial Park, we welcome you to Championship Friday in the Colonial Athletic Association. Today, it is the top-seeded Dukes of James Madison, the unbeaten in this double elimination field at 2-0, facing the Phoenix of Elon. The Phoenix, the number 2 seed, 2-1 in this tournament field. A beautiful Friday here in Harrisonburg. I'm Kurt Dudley along with Kyle West. And Kyle, when it comes to a championship day, there's always history possibly in the making. And we know there will be today. Of course, James Madison going for its 5th CAA title and 4th since 2014. For the Phoenix of Elon, a newcomer to the CAA in 2015, making its first title appearance, and the only team to knock off the Dukes during the regular year, plus they're coached by a local product in Kathy Bocock. There are a lot of underlying stories in this one.
Yeah, it should be a fun one to see all of those storylines as they develop, and another one to add to that list is the fact Elon has not been in this tournament the last couple of years, so making a grand reappearance, if you will, all the way to the championship game. It should be a fun day of softball.
All right, let's rewind some things for you. Let's go back a couple of days ago as this tournament got underway on Wednesday here under cloudy skies. We've got really good sunny skies today, and let's start with the Phoenix. Their first game of the tournament for the Phoenix, facing the Towson Tigers, the number 3 seed, and they get on the board in the 4th inning with 5 runs in the frame, and they used quite a few of bases-loaded walks in that inning as well and came up with a 6-1 victory. On to James Madison against the College of Charleston. The Cougars had to win the first game of the day to face the Dukes, but boy, the Dukes throughout this tournament, they've needed only 8 1/3 innings of offense to win not 1 but 2 games, and they are hitting home runs left and right. Kate Gordon, as she hit one there and hit another one yesterday. And of course, in the circle, Odyssey Alexander picks up a win, and there is Megan Good as Good picks up her 118th. And there's Gordon again with the home run, establishing a program record. That was the 85th of the season. This is the game-winning fielder's choice with Gordon sliding in, and that was a walk-off win for the Dukes yesterday. That put Elon back into the loser's bracket, but they came out storming as the Phoenix. They scored 2 in the first, 5 in the second. They got a couple of home runs, Megan White and Rebecca Murray, and they went on to defeat the Drexel Dragons. The Dragons plating 3 runs in the 7th, but this is the final out, and that puts Elon into this historical game. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty good matchup here today, the Dukes and the Phoenix. Let's take a quick look at the starting lineup, first of all, for the Phoenix of Elon. They are the lower seed. They are the visiting team here. It used to be that they would flip-flop, but now they go strictly with the higher seed as the home team. I think that's worth it. You work a whole season for that, right?
I was going to say the regular season has to mean something, and yeah, you put in all that time, might as well earn the top spot and home team as a result.
There is Megan White. She is the co-rookie of the year, and she has certainly shown her stuff here this week, and certainly deserving so. Let's flip to the other side and take a look at the Dukes starting lineup today under the Coach of the Year, Lauren Laporte. As the Dukes, it has been, again, a massive offense, 8 1/3 innings, and they have put up 21 runs already in this. As there you see, Odyssey Alexander is the CAA Player of the Year. Megan Good, who is serving as the designated player today, is the CAA Pitcher of the Year, and there are 9 Dukes on the alt-conference team going into this. It is just an incredible offensive display by this team, and yesterday, quite frankly, came up with some really big defensive plays, some exciting defensive plays, which oftentimes with this team seems to go by the wayside. Nobody really thinks about it much.
Yeah, it's good when spectacular defense is an afterthought.
Yeah, how about that? And we did see some of that yesterday here with the Dukes and the Phoenix. Now, the Phoenix did beat the Dukes back in the regular season. The first tournament, or the first CAA series this year, was back in March. The Dukes won the opener handily 13-2, but then the Phoenix, they jumped on Megan Good in that contest and ended up winning it 5-3. The Dukes walked off, or picked up the series win, however, 10-3 on Sunday. To win the series, and that made it 15-7 all time in this in the history of the series. And then, of course, the Dukes yesterday facing the Phoenix for only the second time in the CAA tournament. The first time, 13-2, the win for the Dukes, and yesterday the 9-1 victory for James Madison in walk-off fashion. By the way, that walk-off, the 22nd shortened game because of the 8-run rule for JMU, and that's just another way of talking about how explosive this offense can be. Right now they're introducing all of the players of this championship game, not only those that are going to start today, but the remainder of the roster. So they've already announced the Phoenix of Elon from Elon, North Carolina. And the host Dukes of James Madison. Dukes number 16 in the country, 14 in the RPI. So for JMU, the Dukes really want to take care of business and make it difficult for the committee to send them on the road next week in the opening round of the regionals.
Yeah, you don't want to leave an opening there, as you kind of implied there. Put the pressure on the committee and don't give them an easy reason to say, well, there's a blemish or an opening to perhaps let them be leapfrogged.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be just the smallest detail can mean the difference. Remember a couple years ago, I thought James Madison would get a regional, and they shipped them out to Baylor. It was a good series, a good regional for the Dukes, but they did not come out of it. Of course, a year before that, the Dukes played in a super regional hosting LSU, winning the first game, but dropping the doubleheader here and eventually coming that one game shy of making the College World Series. All right, so we're just a couple of minutes away from the opening pitch of this championship game. We're going to step aside, and we'll be back and see how it's all going to shake down today. The Dukes and the Phoenix coming up right after this on College Sports Live. Welcome back, everyone, to Veterans Memorial Park. The facility opened up here in 2010, and it has hosted quite a few CAA championship tournaments, and we've got another championship Friday here. In the circle for the Dukes is Odyssey Alexander, the CAA Player of the Year for the second consecutive year. Picked up her 21st victory here already this week, 1.94 her ERA. 30 appearances, 26 of those are starts, 14 complete games, 7 of those shutouts. And I didn't get a chance to count how many of those are shortened games because of the Dukes offense, but if there's 22 overall, you can imagine she's got quite a few of them. 149 strikeouts on the year for Alexander, and she yields a batting average to the opponents of just 172. Now, she will walk a batter occasionally, 36, and generally they seem to come pretty close to one another, so that's one thing she has proved on throughout her career is getting that focus back in and attacking the hitters. So Kyle West will take us through our first 3 innings of play-by-play. Welcome back to the booth here, and welcome everyone to Championship Friday. Whether you're a fan of the Dukes, a fan of the Phoenix, or a fan of college softball in general, we're going to have fun here today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kurt. Elon will lead off with Tia Mitchell, left fielder for the Phoenix. 197 average, but a 348 on-base percentage, so trying to reach against Alexander to start off.
And this is a change. She was at the bottom of the order yesterday.
Yeah, Morgan Reich now batting 9th in the lineup, and Mitchell takes an aggressive cut at the first swing, and the CAA softball championship game is underway.
And Dan Rogers, the home plate umpire, they used 4 today. It must be a big day. I'll give you the rest of them here in just a moment.
0-1 off the plate.
Tim Inman is at first base, John Cambridge at second, and Eddie Hall is at third base.
They've got every station covered today, so all eyes on this field to determine the CAA champion and automatic qualifier to the NCAA tournament. 1-2 the count on Mitchell, who has gone after 2 of the first 3 pitches. Mitchell, the Phoenix, in the championship game for the first time, coming off of their best finish since joining the CAA. Joined the league in 2015. Second seed in the tournament, 13-7 record. They won every regular season series against a CAA opponent, with the exception of James Madison. Mitchell goes down swinging, and Alexander notches a strikeout to start off today's action.
And that is her 150th of her junior campaign. Just a nice little drop to the end there as Mitchell cuts over top of it.
Now Alexander faces Erica Serafini, 269 average. Has driven in 22 runs this year, 13 doubles, 1 off the team lead in that category.
Serafini's played excellent in the field. Does have 1 error in the tournament, but has made some pretty good plays, but only 1 out of 9 offensively this week.
Another swing and a miss, so we have seen 4 swings from Elon hitters thus far, and no one has been able to put the ball in play yet, and just the 1 foul ball even. Alexander throwing it by the Elon bats thus far, and another example as Alexander continues to deal.
Alexander, though, one that throws in the 60s, mid-60s, and then you come back with a Megan Good, who throws in the 70s. It's quite a difference. Some may ask why doesn't Good throw, but they like to go with Odyssey first to kind of set the tone.
Well, she's doing just that. Back-to-back strikeouts for Alexander.
And that's just heat and catches the outside corner.
Ali Repko going to attempt to put the ball in play against Alexander. 280 average for her. 8 home runs, 25 driven in this season.
She's been really patient. She has walked 5 times, although she has to swing at that one. She is 1 for 5 in the tournament, a couple of runs scored. Her only hit is a double.
Those 5 walks you mentioned give her 44 for the season. She came into the tournament with 39 walks, which was second most in the conference during the regular season. 44, but has to go after Alexander, who's been pumping the zone so far, and a fly out in foul territory to Gordon. Makes a 1-2-3 inning. James Madison bats for the first time when we return. Abby Barker tasked with trying to shut down this potent James Madison offense. 19 wins on the season, a 2.63 ERA. Those 74 strikeouts are in 157 and a third innings. We have seen Barker throughout this tournament. She's 2-0 so far, winning both of her starts, a 2.10 ERA. 8 strikeouts and 13 innings so far for the week here at JMU. Faces Hannah File to begin. First pitch in for a strike. File a 353 average at the top of the lineup. Includes 11 doubles, 7 home runs, and 37 RBIs.
That 7th home run came yesterday. The Dukes hit 4 in yesterday's contest, giving them 88 on the year, breaking the old record of 84.
Just one of a few school records already established by this team, with some games remaining on the schedule. Also school records for RBIs and walks for the JMU offense. File hits it deep, left center field, back to the track, back to the wall, and another home run to add to the record books. Hannah File starts off the CAA softball championship with a deep fly to left center.
And the Dukes continue. They have scored in every inning thus far in this tournament. As I mentioned earlier, they've only needed 8 1/3 frames to win the first 2 games, and File starts it off here today with her 8th round tripper. There's number 89 for the Dukes here in 2019.
We've talked about it already throughout the tournament, but not allowing even a glimmer of hope for the opponent. JMU has been doing that all year. They've outscored opponents in the first inning 94-24 now, and if you put the first 2 innings combined, they've outscored them 179 to only 36 runs allowed in the first 2 innings of games. So not only are they a prolific offense that's tough to shut down, they get out to the lead early and put even more pressure on the opponents. And Kate Gordon, how about after a leadoff home run, now you have to face the best hitter of the tournament so far, 4 for 5 with 2 home runs of her own and a .445 batter overall. 1-2 the count after the foul ball.
Yeah, the Dukes are neither hospitable or great guests. I mean, they jump out early on teams, home and away. And we see it here today with File, a sophomore, third baseman, and an all-conference second-teamer.
Gordon with 18 home runs. That's tied for a single-season record individually. Morgan Toll had 18 home runs last year for the Dukes, and Gordon has matched that again with a couple already in this tournament, 1 in each game. JMU has only had to play 2 games to get here by virtue of being the top seed and being able to move directly to a game late on day 1 and then winning both games to arrive here. Whereas Elon, 2-1 so far in the tournament, with 1 loss being at the hand of the Dukes. Gordon swings and misses, so Barker comes back with a strikeout.
That is a really nice change up there. Had Gordon fooled quite a bit. That's one of those that when you're swinging, you wish you weren't. You got enough time to think about it as, oh no, I can't stop it. It's a little too late. And Barker was really good last night. Very competitive.
First pitch misses to Megan Good, 343 average, the 4-time CAA Pitcher of the Year, and just as capable at the plate with 15 home runs and a whopping 57 RBIs already this season. And she has a base hit to left field.
Duke's in the tournament through the first 2 games, batting at .478. And they've already got 2 hits in this contest and the 1 run. And it doesn't get any easier with Odyssey Alexander, the 2-time Player of the Year, coming to the plate next.
360 average for Alexander. Includes 14 home runs, 56 RBIs. It's pretty easy to see how this team set a single-season record for home runs as a unit. There are 5 consecutive hitters in this lineup with double-digit home runs. This is only the 3rd one. After this is Logan Newton and Sarah Jubas, who both have double-digit home runs on the season.
Yeah, Jubas joining that club yesterday. She was hitting over 500 for much of the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. You saw her up among the NCAA leaders.
Alexander hits it down the line, and it 2 hops to the fence. Heading to third is Good. She's there standing up. Alexander into second base with a double. 3 of the first 4 reach for James Madison, including a couple of extra base hits.
Yeah, they're just a triple shy of the cycle. As you see Odyssey Alexander end up at second base, so she's in double-figure doubles for the year with her 10th of the season to go with her 14 home runs. And the Dukes, they just pour it on.
Logan Newton next up. 10 home runs, 45 driven in for her, and a chance to add 2 more to that with runners in scoring position. A .427 average this year.
Yeah, Logan with her, I think we need to do a little breakdown and determine what her numbers would be on a game basis if she played every game this season, because she didn't really get into the lineup on a regular basis till about a quarter into the season.
That's a good point. Has 40 starts on the year, including this one today. So Newton with also a .515 on base percentage, so able to not just crack the lineup, but be a big contributor right in the middle of it, and is ahead in the count 3-0 against Barker. First base is open. Sarah Jubas waiting on deck.
Yeah, she's played in 14 less games than everybody else that's in this line, or most of those that's in this lineup.
.30 off the mark. Bases are loaded for Jubas. Do you have your Grand Slam stats waiting for us?
Oh, yeah. We can pull those out, no doubt. That's one thing the Dukes have not done this week is hit a Grand Slam. 31 in the history of the program. And 3 of the Dukes, 2 of them are on base right now, have 3 in their careers, and Odyssey Alexander and Megan Good. The other is Kirsten Rogat, and she hadn't even come to the plate yet.
Jubas has 10 home runs for the season, and as you mentioned, able to join that double-digit group with a home run in this tournament. Some activity in the bullpen for Elon. As the Phoenix have Elise Walton, who has the only victory against JMU.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. They went with her yesterday to maybe a little psychological play there, and hoping that the Dukes would not adjust or just realizing that's the gal that beat us. But no, that didn't really affect the Dukes much.
No, it did not. She was tagged with 5 runs on 6 hits and 2 2/3 innings in her second time facing the Dukes lineup. First pitch misses to Jubas, but it is an accomplishment in and of itself. The fact she has the only win against James Madison for a CAA pitcher this year. James Madison 20-1 record against the conference, swept every opponent outside of Elon, and that was the opening series of conference play for the Dukes.
By the way, checking those Grand Slam totals again, Jubas hit the 28th in the program's history, and that was against Duke here at home on April the 17th.
Well, she's up there with an opportunity to put number 32 on the list as well. Right now, 3-0 with no place to put her. Megan Good at third, Odyssey Alexander at second, Logan Newton the runner at first. 3-0, catches the inside. Mentioned the dominant win-loss record against the conference. Really, you look at James Madison's season and number 14 in the RPI, they have really dominated against almost everyone. A free pass makes it 2-0 as Megan Good trots home. James Madison 46-7 record overall. 6 of those 7 losses came against teams that were either nationally ranked or receiving votes at the time, including 5 against ranked opponents. So 5 of the 7 losses against teams in the national rankings at the time, and that's again another reason they're number 14 in the RPI, looking to solidify an 8th NCAA tournament appearance, 7 in a row, and hoping to have a chance to host an NCAA regional as well. This ball is popped up on the infield. Infield fly is called. Barker takes it 2 away. Roadcap had been up there with a 272 average. Now turns it over to Arnold, although we have Lauren Laporte, the head coach for James Madison, making her way down the line. So we'll see if there's a change.
They may make the change here. We'll see this pretty frequently with her. She'll bring in a different style of hitter because Cambria Arnold is a slap hitter, which really doesn't bode well in a bases-loaded situation, particularly with 2 outs. It's even less so an effective ploy. So instead, they bring out Victoria Figueroa, who is an all-rookie selection, despite not really playing in that many games. But when she has come in, she has made some very big impacts on the diamond.
Yeah, only 19 at-bats, but she has 8 hits in those 19 at-bats and probably has another one here. Open up the record book and add this to number 32 Grand Slams in James Madison's history. And the Dukes have blown it open in the first inning, 6-0.
All due respect to Cambria Arnold, I don't think she would have done that. Man, are you pulling out all the cards at the right time? Whew.
And what a moment for Figueroa to step right up. You figure you may have a chance to bat at some point in the game, but here's the first inning. Your number is called, bases loaded, 2 out. And what do? An all-rookie member of the conference, you put it over the fence.
Well, she wanted to say thank you to everybody for voting her as an all-rookie selection, and boy, she certainly stamped her ticket there.
6 runs on 4 hits for James Madison in this opening frame. Madison Niokis takes a strike. The 9th batter for the Dukes in this opening frame. .341 average for her. She has 5 home runs this season. Takes strike 2. Energized crowd here. Doesn't matter if it's 11 a.m. on a Friday. They have packed the stadium, and a lot of purple here and a lot of purple-clad fans screaming and shouting here in the last hour of the morning.
No question. They've made a good adjustment of getting here early, too.
So bloop down the right field line falls foul. The first baseman, Goldwait, going back. Second baseman, Reich, coming over at the angle. Neither one able to get there, so it falls in foul territory, and the count remains 1-2.
This game really was originally started for a noon start, and just at the end of last night's elimination game when Drexel season end and Elon continued on in, the decision was made to switch it to 11 o'clock to try to avoid, really not so much the case of this first game, but in the event that there was a second game, they were really concerned there. So they went ahead, backed it up an hour. You see it didn't affect the crowd whatsoever. It's still a very good crowd.
Yeah, they were out tailgating when I showed up. Usually, as a broadcaster, you show up to an empty stadium, maybe a few event staff are there to help get the gates open. I pulled into a parking lot. They're out playing cornhole, getting ready for the game around 9 a.m. this morning. I thought, now this is a fan base right here. 2-2 is the count to Niokis. And now it runs full. Anna Files started the inning with a solo homer, and she's hoping to have an opportunity to bat twice in the first inning. Barker trying to into this frame. Fly ball hit well left field, and that one's gone. 3 home runs in the inning for James Madison.
Number 91 on the year as they continue to sock the softball out of the park. That's her second of the tournament.
James Madison playing in its 54th game of the season. They have had 29 games where they had multiple home runs, and now they have a multi-home run inning, 3 of them to be exact, including the grand slam by Figueroa, and Elon will make a change in the circle. James Madison bats through the order, 3 home runs and 7 runs total on 5 hits. So Walton comes in for the Phoenix.
Well, Lisa, 6.02 ERA, 3-4. This is her second appearance against the Dukes this week, her 14th overall. 40 2/3 innings worked this year, 20 strikeouts and 30 walks. A little patience is helpful if you're facing Walton, and 343 the opponent's hitting against her. And she did get the start yesterday against the Dukes, but she had not pitched much since mid-April.
Yeah, just 40 innings total on the year, and against James Madison, 5 runs, 6 hits, and 2 2/3 innings. Had 4 walks in that appearance. In the victory against JMU, complete game, held the Dukes to 2 earned runs on 6 hits in that appearance. Hannah File had a solo home run at the top of this inning. JMU bats around, and File up there for the second time. 2-0 to the leadoff hitter. James Madison, as you said earlier, Kurt, not the most accommodating of hosts at this ballpark. 158-46 is the record, so they've been tough to beat here, certainly, and really putting a stamp on this one in the first inning. They've won 18 in a row overall this season. 3-1 now on Hannah File.
And File out of Shelbyville, Indiana. A couple of Midwesterns on the roster for JMU.
File with a walk, and Kate Gordon struck out swinging on the changeup earlier by Barker. Now has a chance to face Walton here in the first. Mentioned the 18 home runs, tying a school record. She also has 73 hits this season, which is a personal best for her. That's 12 off of the single season record for James Madison, held by Erica Field. She did that 4 years ago. Gordon closing in on that with not just this game, but some more postseason to follow for the Dukes. And there's hit number 74 of the year. Drops it down the left field line. File moves to second. Gordon now at first. Megan Good with a base hit in this inning stands in as the 12th batter for JMU in the first.
That's 6 hits for JMU. Getting back to Gordon, one time this year she hit 4 home runs in consecutive at-bats. 3 of those against Tennessee. And the Volunteers ranked number 6 in the country at the time. The Dukes did win that game, by the way.
That was one of the victories for James Madison. We mentioned the losses. Also, on the flip side of that, the wins. 4-5 record this year against teams ranked at the time they played them. 4 wins against ranked opponents, and out of James Madison's 7 losses, which is already a low number, 5 of them against ranked opponents and another one against a team that was receiving votes at the time. Great season for the Dukes, and a fly ball to center field, run down by Murray, brings a close to the first inning. However, James Madison, 7 runs, 6 hits, including 3 homers, the grand slam by Figueroa, the highlight of an inning full of them. And the Dukes take a 7-0 lead to the second. Some of the fans there texting probably those not in attendance saying you are missing a lot of fun right now. Some of the other fans fanning themselves. As you said, this game moved up due to possible weather later in the day. No such threatening weather right now other than the heat. A few fans have umbrellas to protect themselves from the sun, which is coming down as we approach high noon here in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Great day for softball, and certainly the Dukes fans are thinking that after watching the home team score 7 runs on 6 hits, including 3 homers in the first inning. Elon leads off the second with Megan White, the conference co-rookie of the year, .324 average currently, team best 10 home runs and 29 RBIs, ahead of the count 2-0.
White with a home run in this tournament.
It's her only hit so far, 1 for 7 in her first CAA tournament. Really, though, just because she's a freshman, that's not exclusive to her. A lot of these Elon players, including members of the sophomore and junior class, appearing in their first CAA tournament, as Elon joined the conference in 2015, made the bracket in each of the first 2 years, the only victory during that time against Towson in 2015, and then after appearing in the tournament in 2016 without winning a game, did not make the field in 2017 or 2018. So not just getting to the championship game here, but really a lot of these players in their first conference tournament experience have shined brightly for an Elon team that went 13-7 against the league during the regular season.
Some programs, if you look at it, just kind of take the law of averages as they get into things and start to develop. There's a step-by-step process many times. It's more rare for somebody to come in and just take over, or really be dominant or very good. And for Elon, I said this last night during the broadcast with Maggie, Tyler, is just for Elon to get to this stage is great for the program. It's great for the seniors who get to have this experience, but it's also great for the future because there's so many freshmen on this team for Elon to have this exposure and to play in this game could reap dividends. Maybe not today, but and maybe so today, but also in the future as they will come back with that experience.
Absolutely. White is one of 4 freshmen in the starting lineup today. She draws a walk to begin the second inning. So she's the first base runner for the Phoenix, and now one of the senior leaders of this team, Callie Horn, with a .263 average, stands in from the right side.
Horn had the best tournament thus far offensively for the Phoenix, going 4 out of 9. All of those are singles, couple of RBIs. And she's only struck out once. She's also has a stolen base, does this right fielder.
0-2. Alexander, after the leadoff walk, quickly getting ahead of Horn. Horn, the right fielder in today's lineup, that's significant because she was starting catcher for nearly the first half of the year, and with her versatility, able to move to right field. That allowed Megan White to become the regular catcher for Elon, and as you heard just a moment ago, went on to become the conference co-rookie of the year. Had a great freshman season. A lot of that enabled by Callie Horn, able to find another spot to contribute in the lineup, because with a player like Callie Horn, you do not want to lose that bat and also that veteran leadership in the middle of the lineup. So she's moving to right field. Megan White becomes the starting catcher, and that's helped the Phoenix have such a strong conference season. Battling right now against Alexander at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
There's Kathy Bocock. There's Kathy. Callie's at the plate. That's Kathy there down the third baseline. Again, a local product. Went to Turner Ashby High School down in Bridgewater, Virginia. Same spot that Kirsten Roadcap, who's behind the dish for the Dukes, played.
Called strike 3. Horn caught looking, one away.
Third strikeout for Alexander. Second on the call. Just gets her on the outside. That pitch that cuts away on the outside has been a good one here early.
Has struck out 3 of the 5 she has faced. Now takes a look at Keegan Goldwaite for the first time today. freshman on this team with a .260 average. 15 extra base hits, including 8 doubles. 7 home runs and 1 off the team lead for RBIs with 28 on the season.
And she has a home run. That's her only hit this week in this tournament.
Wind has picked up and blowing a little more toward left field. The first day the wind was blowing in, a very stiff breeze in from left field. We saw that change around yesterday, and right now it's again blowing toward left a little bit.
This isn't typical throughout the year, but over the last couple of weeks, this is the direction the wind has been coming from.
2-1 is the count to Goldwaite, and pulls it foul over near the baseball stadium, just beyond the outfield fence here, Eagle Field, also on this beautiful complex at the campus of James Madison.
In a couple of weeks, I'll have 6 baseball teams over there vying for the CAA baseball title as the weekend of CAA play gets underway today around the league.
Another strikeout for Alexander. She has fanned 4 of the first 6 to face her. 2 swinging and 2 looking. Went upstairs on Goldwaite, and Lauren Clark now becomes the batter with a .325 average. Another freshman in this lineup, Rebecca Murray, to follow. Listed as a freshman as well. Swing and a miss. Alexander going above the zone again to start Clark off with a swinging strike.
Clark 2 out of 6 with a double and a home run. They've hit 4 home runs, have the Phoenix this week. All distributed among 4. And Roadcap's going to call a little bit of a timeout and head on out to the circle.
Talks things over with Alexander. Elon won its first game against Towson 6-1. That moved the Phoenix into a matchup against James Madison yesterday in the first game of the day. James Madison won 9-1 in 5 innings, sending Elon to the losers bracket in an elimination game against Drexel. Elon led 7-0 going into the final inning, defeated Drexel 7-3 in order to make it here. Diving effort and foul ground by Shiflett comes up just short, but a good effort by the first baseman.
I don't know if she overdove, if you can say that, but it looked like it actually hit the heel of her mitt. So she may have extended just a little too far. Take a look at it again. Watch as she gets out there, and a little obstructed by the post, but I think it hit up on the heel.
Yeah, it looked like it hit on the heel of the mitt. Pitch upstairs. Too much effort. Try and justify that at watching film the next. Coach, I gave too much effort.
Well, that would be a great answer. But I can also see that Coach Laporte may come up. All right, let's do first baseman diving drills.
1-2 pitch. Alexander looking for another punch out with 4 already on the score sheet.
Honestly, I'm not sure if Coach Laporte would come up with that, but I know that former head coach Mickey Dean would definitely come up with a drill for something like that.
Laporte, an assistant coach during that time as well, in her 7th year with the program, has seen a lot of the success for the Duke softball team, trying to lead them to a CAA championship today, and off to a fine start. A leadoff walk, but nothing after that for Elon. We'll go to the bottom of the second. JMU leads by 7. James Madison leading 7-0 after a big first inning. Odyssey Alexander has been getting it done in the circle, and last time up at the plate, contributed as well. A double and a run scored in the first inning. She bats for the second time in as many frames here. Along with Kurt Dudley, Kyle West, glad to have you along with us for the CAA Softball Championship. Big swing from Alexander, looking to add to the double for her performance so far today.
Alexander from Boynton, Virginia. If you're familiar with Lake Gaston and Kerr Dam area, that's down in that direction.
Pitch fouled off to the right, so it's 0-2. After Alexander, it'll be Newton and Jubis coming up. 4, 5, 6, part of the lineup for the Dukes. Good play over there in the stands. Not just loud and supportive fans here, but very agile and athletic fans as well, I've noticed throughout the tournament.
Well, this is a hotbed for softball to begin with. Even the fans are good softball players, even in the stands. So there's Coach Laporte. She's under the screen at the moment, but it's 2-time CAA Coach of the Year. Pretty good, 2 out of 2.
I was going to say, it's as good as you can do when you're in your second season leading a program, as she has led James Madison to an 89-21 record overall in her 2 years at the helm. Mentioned it's her 7th year in total with the program. Another fine catch in the stands. Third base side as well, getting it done today.
I'll tell you what, recruiting's going to get really tough on fans here. That's actually, you see, those are many of the Kathy Bocock family members. That was Mike Bocock in the crowd, who is also a big baseball name here, as well as a pretty big fella himself. Worked with Mike for many years here in the Valley. He used to coach in the Valley League for many years and has a local establishment that's got a baseball theme to it as well. Out at Clover Hill, which is sort of like a Field of Dreams type place.
There's Laporte showing some agility as well, jumping out of the way in the third base coach's box. She's pretty smart with Alexander at the plate. She's well deep of the coach's box, not standing anywhere near the plate. And even with that being said, barely had enough time to get out of the way of that one.
Well, I was standing in the third base dugout one day when Alexander was taking BP, and she said, "Kurt, make sure that you are aware who is taking BP right now."
That one over the head of Laporte.
She's all right with it thus far. That's Mike. He's there. He just turned his head with the shades on and the glasses. Yeah, that's Mike Bocock. I'm sure there are quite a few other Bococks in the crowd here this afternoon, or soon to be afternoon.
That pitch is upstairs. Alexander with a walk.
Well, she earned that one.
Yeah.
She peppered the ball several times just in foul territory.
Walton in the circle will now face Logan Newton, who had a walk and a run scored in the first inning. 3 home runs, double, a base hit. There were 3 walks in that frame as well. James Madison up and down the lineup continued to find ways to put runners on base and drive them home in the first inning.
And they're going to go to Michelle Sullivan to run for Alexander at first base. Michelle, a sophomore of Ashburn, Virginia Briarwoods.
Newton looks at the first pitch up and in.
Newton at 5'7", from Lakewood Ranch, Florida. High school of the same name. This last week, the end of the regular season, the final CAA Player of the Week.
Takes a strike here. Did that by going 7 for 9 during the week. Batting average of .439 coming in, was top 15 in the nation for that category.
And she took it out on Hofstra as well earlier this year. Of course, Hofstra was here last year and won this tournament. But a rare occasion. It's since 2012, it's either been JMU or Hofstra with the title. But Pride didn't have a chance to come back this year.
That pitch is upstairs. James Madison looking to continue that trend. Hofstra has won 4 of the conference titles since 2012, and James Madison trying to make it 4 as well. It would also be the 4th since 2015 specifically, so a little bit of a shorter span for the Dukes. But the overall stat being, since 2012, it's either been Hofstra or James Madison holding up the trophy at the end of the tournament. Newton with another free pass, her second of the game. Alexander advances to second. Sarah Jubis becoming the batter in just a moment. She also has a walk and a run scored. You see Lauren Laporte watching on right now. What a run this has been for the Dukes team. I mentioned 89-21 under her guidance as the head coach. During her time with the program overall, a record of 326-77. That's getting it done.
That's a pretty blistering rate, no doubt.
Against the conference, 127 wins and only 12 defeats during that time. In regular season play, that is.
Well, this, as I mentioned, this facility built in 2010, and it wasn't long after that things got a little more serious with softball here. They started the program back at the turn of the century and played over near where the current JMU Convocation Center is. And if you go to that site now, there's a dormitory being erected that opens up in the fall. But it did not have all the amenities that this facility does, and so when you put the money into a facility like this, you got to get a little serious about it, and that's what the Dukes did. Not that they weren't serious before, in all due respect to all the coaches and all the players that came through before.
That ball hit well, pulled foul, cleared the fence, but to the left of the 200 side. You're right, exactly. When more resources and you're looking for that return on investment, boy, has there been a significant return on the investment since this facility opened in 2010. 0-2 upstairs. A couple of runners on base with a pair of walks in the inning. Sullivan, the runner at second, running in place of Alexander. This ball hit well, left field, carrying and gone. Number 4 of the game for James Madison, and the Dukes put 3 more on the board. It's 10-0 in the second inning.
4 home runs from 4 players. Jubas joining the hit parade. And she circles the bases for the 11th time this year.
Pitch elevated, and Jubas able to put the barrel on it and drive it over the fence for the 4th home run in what is only 15 batters so far for the JMU offense today. Now Kirsten Roadcap to the plate. 10 runs on 7 hits for the Dukes offense. Talk about making a statement. We were talking early in the broadcast about the selection committee and how things slot in and not leaving the door cracked open for a bit. And we're only in the second inning. There's still more softball to be played here today. But for now, this is what you might call a statement victory, so to speak, where you're trying to remove any doubt.
Well, and that has been something that has been talked about. And I think it goes back to 2 years ago when the Dukes were shipped to Waco, Texas, and that they want to do everything within their power to make it a difficult decision. Again, number 14 in the RPI, but there are a lot of other things that are taking place around the country that could influence that. Mm-hmm. But you do what you can influence and take care of what you can take care of, and then if things don't go your way, well, you can't say you didn't give it the effort.
Looking for their 47th win of the season. Walk to Roadcap. Going for the 5th CAA title, 4th since 2015, as we mentioned, and on the way to an 8th NCAA tournament appearance, whether it's as the automatic qualifier by winning here, or certainly one thing the Dukes can be confident in, they're going to be in the field. It's the matter of that extra step and having the chance to host the regional.
A little timeout here as Cam Arnold comes in to the batter's box. That's not really the reason for the timeout. They're going because of switching. Lexi Lomax is running at first base for Roadcap, the catcher. And this is where Figueroa hit the grand slam, and she was hitting for Cam Arnold. And if you haven't seen Cam Arnold at the plate, you'll see what she does here, and you can understand the reason that Laporte went with Figueroa.
First pitch for a strike to Arnold.
Arnold, very quiet, doesn't say a whole lot, just goes about her business. She lets her bat and her defense speak for what she does.
Lays a bunt down, pretty good one. Throw to first is not in time, and also pulls Goldwait off the bag. So, yes, that's a little bit different than a grand slam, Kurt.
Just a tad.
Solid prediction there, but just as effective in terms of keeping a rally going here in the second inning as she reaches on a well-placed bunt just barely in front of the plate down the third base line.
Yeah, it's interesting because when Arnold, who missed most of last year because of an injury early in the season, when she was a freshman, she was the leadoff batter in that slap hitting role and did very well for the Dukes that year as Naiokas is at the plate. But now she's in that number 8 slot, and it's like hitting a changeup in the middle of that slugging offense.
Yeah, it's a great analogy. Pitch is down low, evens the count at 1-1 to Naiokas, who had a home run in the first inning. Followed that grand slam up with a solo homer. So back-to-back home runs, part of 4 total for JMU today. They ask if she offered and did not. Naiokas squared around to bunt, but pulled the bat back as the pitch tailed in on her, and it's 2-1. Just no let up if you're in the circle, at least not today, and really throughout the season for CAA competition, as this ball is in the air to shallow left. The shortstop, Serafini, goes back to make the catch, and that's the first out of the second inning, and it turns the lineup over to Hannah Feil, who is already 1 for 1 with a solo homer, a walk, and a run scored today.
And Naiokas, who homered back in the first, got under that one just a little bit. Had that long ball cut to it.
Feil takes a first pitch strike.
Feil came into the tournament with 16 multi-hit games this year, including 1 4-hit encounter. 1 of 3 by the Dukes.
This ball also to shallow left, and Serafini up to the challenge again, 2 away. Gordon 1 for 2. Up there for the third time.
Speaking with Gordon yesterday, nice quote. She said, "Simplicity, that's our way."
The quote almost exemplifies that. It's a simple quote as well.
Yes, it is.
Repko lost that ball looking up into the sky, and it falls behind her in foul territory. That is a tremendous quote on multiple levels.
It is, and I was actually, during a conversation I was having. Kate had come up here to talk to radio, as had Madison Naiokas, and I was speaking to Madison about the way she defends a pop-up, and she goes, "Yeah, she's just very clean with it," and then she stated it that way. Simplicity, that's our way. I appreciate that, Kate, for somebody who is 20 years old, thinking of it from that standpoint.
Yeah.
Don't get it too difficult, because Madison was saying, "I hate pop-ups because I have to think about them. I'd rather not think and do something." So, that's interesting.
I can agree with that. Tough play for Serafini this time, charging and has no play. Lomax advances to third. Arnold now standing at second base. And Kate Gordon is aboard to load the bases in front of none other than Megan Good. Another look at Serafini. Took a look at third base, decided that was her only option, trying to get the lead runner, but even if she'd gone to third, looked like Lomax was going to be ahead of that throw.
I think she tried to make the decision too soon. There was a chance. She certainly had a play, I think, on Gordon. That was her best option, but in her mind, she wanted to try to get the short out and instead ended up bobbling the ball. So an error on the shortstop is the official scoring call.
Good bats with the bases loaded. Loads up, but decides to hold back and takes a strike to level the count at 1-1. Good, a base hit and a run scored. 2-1.
Good, picking up her 118th career victory in the circle yesterday, which is the best among the active players in the country, the most. And you mentioned earlier the CAA Pitcher of the Year for the 4th time. Only 2 student athletes can ever say that. She is only the 2nd.
Really a remarkable accomplishment just in and of itself. And then when you add the hitting accolades as well, oh, by the way, she has 57 RBIs this year and a chance for many more at the plate in this situation. Full count with 2 away to the number 3 hitter for the Dukes.
And also with the chance to make a little coin playing the sport afterwards, as she was drafted by USSSA. And if she does go that route, she'll join Jalen Ford. And many of the records that she has set, she surpassed Ford in the process.
Not able to get to this one, and a strikeout ends the inning. Not before James Madison adds 3 on a 3-run homer by Sarah Jubas, the 4th for the Dukes today. It's 10-0 at the end of 2. Jubas joins the home run barrage. 4 for James Madison today, building a double-digit lead. For Elon, stepping to the plate first is Rebecca Murray, her first time facing Alexander today. Alexander has struck out 4, only base runner against her up to this point is a walk. That led off the 2nd inning. Megan White stranded at first base after that. JMU, meanwhile, has posted 10 runs on 8 hits, and half of those 8 hits have left the yard. Murray not happy with that first strike rung up against her. 265 hitting freshman. 3 home runs, 8 doubles. Now 1-1 on Murray. I mentioned 4 freshmen in the starting lineup. A sophomore in Allie Repko. A few seniors with Mitchell, Serafini, and Horn. This Elon team has a nice balance of senior leadership and youthful energy and talent coming into the fold, and that has fueled the Elon season. A team that lost its top 2 hitters and pitcher from last year, was picked to finish 6th in the league, and certainly turned some heads by finishing 2nd in the conference and winning every single series against a CAA opponent other than James Madison. And the Phoenix, the only team to beat JMU in conference play, as the Dukes won the other 20 contests against the league. So this Elon team has had a tremendous season with this roster put together by Kathy Bocock. Running into a juggernaut today so far, though, against the Dukes.
Probably the dynamics of this Phoenix team, and chatting with Coach Bocock when the Dukes hosted Elon during the regular season, was the senior and freshman, majority of her squad, and just a few juniors and sophomores kind of peppered in there between. And she really relied on the experience of the senior class, but the new energy of the freshman class to carry it to the success it has this year. So the freshmen have made it fun for the seniors in many regards, and the seniors have reciprocated by sharing their experiences and making them better players this year also.
Well, that's the way it should work in an ideal world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Called strike 3, 5th strikeout for Alexander, and 8 batters faced, and 3 of them have been looking.
Alexander, again, 21 wins, and has gone out there so many times with leads close like that, just like this, where she's had such, she can really just go out there and do what she cares to. She's so comfortable out there because she doesn't have a lot of pressure when you've got a 10 spot after 2 innings.
Yeah, it certainly helps.
Yes.
Morgan Reich with a 255 average. Number 9 hitter for Elon. So Alexander still working through the lineup for the first time. Fouled back over the press box. 0-2.
Alexander season-high strikeouts. That was 11 against UNCW on April the 13th. Their career high, 12 against the Camels of Campbell University.
Pitch is upstairs. Campbell, a team out of the Big South Conference down in North Carolina.
Bowie's Creek.
Bowie's Creek,
Beautiful.
North Carolina.
Bowie's Creek.
Yes.
There's a story there, but I can't tell it.
Oh, that's good. Well, who knows? We might have the same story.
That may be true.
That's a line I'll borrow on future broadcasts.
Let me just say it this way. During a live report, I did not quite say Bowie's Creek one time, and it just didn't come out right.
No, we do not have the same story. I don't fall into that category. Bowie's Creek is an interesting, it's basically Campbell's campus,
yes,
and not much else.
That's right.
Pop-up foul ground, plenty of room over there for Gordon, who ranges over and puts it away for out number 2.
Yeah, they could just as easily call that Campbellville and probably be more accurate.
Yeah.
I never saw Bowie's Creek.
No, I've never seen a creek there. And believe me, there's not enough buildings to obstruct a view of a creek. So I don't know where this creek is, but they refer to it, but I have not seen it either in my many visits to that area. I'm sure it exists as a pitches upstairs, but there's not even a hotel within actual Bowie's Creek. It's, again, Campbell's campus, a couple of fast food restaurants to keep the college students happy on a slow Wednesday, and outside of that, you have to look elsewhere for amenities. But still a beautiful campus and beautiful area.
Well, I haven't been there, quite honestly. I think the only time I was there was in the early 1990s.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure things have changed a little bit. That's probably when they put in the fast food restaurant.
That's probably it. 2-1 is the count.
That's one of the nice things about college athletics. You do get to go to a lot of places that otherwise you may not have ever visited.
Absolutely. A lot of fans making the trek to Harrisonburg for this event here. This beautiful part of the country as Mitchell hits it off the end of the bat to second base. Nyokas has it, and Alexander sets down the Phoenix in order. We'll go to the bottom of the third, and Alexander will lead it off for JMU when we return. James Madison offense, 4 home runs, including the leadoff batter. Hannah Files started the first inning. Figueroa followed with a grand slam. Very next batter, Madison Nyokas, left the yard, and not far behind, Sarah Jubis with a 3-run homer in the second inning. And that has allowed the Dukes to build a 10-run lead. Bottom of the third set to begin. And Elon has made a change in the circle. Haley Jump making her 24th appearance of the year.
Yeah, Jump did face the Dukes during the regular year and came in yesterday. We saw her in the circle also during the Phoenix 2 games played here on Thursday.
4.05 average, or ERA, beg your pardon, overall with a 3-4 record. Foul pop-up taken in by Goldwait. Alexander is retired for the first time today. She has scored twice, a double and a walk. Logan Newton coming to the plate. Jump, just 15 strikeouts in 64 innings. So JMU has a chance to put the ball in play. We'll see what happens with Logan Newton, who has not put the ball in play yet. A pair of walks and a pair of runs scored.
Couple things that have been impressive about Newton's season is she does have the pull power, but she also will spray at the left field on occasion, and her on-base percentage is .515. That's pretty good for somebody that also has a .791 slugging percentage.
Yeah. You can see the on-base percentage in effect today. A couple of walks and ahead in the count, 3-0 here, and it's been against 3 different pitchers so far. And this one is a 4-pitch free pass. She had a walk against Barker to start the game, then drew a walk against Elise Walton her second time up, and now third different pitcher And no one can find the zone against Newton so far today.
And here comes Sarah Jublast as she blasted one out of here last time.
3-run homer. Last time up, JMU makes another change on the base paths. Freshman Kelsey Brown is in to run at first. First pitch in for a strike to Jubas. Outside of the 3-run homer, a walk and a run scored in the first inning. So she has also tallied 2 runs on the board for JMU.
Brown at first base running has split some time. She saw a little right field action early in the year as the Dukes trying to settle that situation. Then when Newton got hot offensively, they've played her out there for the most part because you've got Good and you've got Alexander you certainly want to get in the lineup.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have if you're a coach. So much talent, so much depth that you're trying to have players in the lineup that, frankly, have earned places in the lineup. But at the end of the day, only 10 can go on the lineup card.
So Brown relegated to one of the runners for the Dukes. She's got some speed to her.
She's at first base with 1 out. And a 2-2 pitch on the way. Misses outside to Jubas. JMU has scored every single inning on offense in this tournament, even with a 10-0 lead. Something to keep an eye on, and Jubas is going to make another inning in a row. How about a 2-run homer for her after the 3-run blast last frame? JMU leads 12-0, and Jubas has a multi-home run effort.
That is the 5th of the ball game. And let's see here. Odyssey Alexander had 2 against Drexel on the 28th of April. That's the first time we see the 2-homer affair in a single game for a JMU batter. So Jublast might be appropriate.
Yeah, you might be on something there. Just keeps putting the ball over the fence, as do the rest of the Dukes. 93 home runs in total. They're closing in on triple digits for the season. Pitch in for a strike to Roadcap.
Jublast with, now I'm calling her Jublast. Jubas with 6 RBIs ties her career high. She also had 6 against UNCW on the 13th of April.
Pitch is fouled down the right field line. The other RBI coming on the bases loaded walk in the first inning. So she has driven in at least 1 run in every frame thus far.
Okay, so she drove in 1, 3, and 2. So is she one shy of the cycle there?
You know what? I'll give that to you. Yeah. Ground ball to third, fielded in back of the bag, and a nice strong throw from Repko records the second out.
Repko is a Valley product as well. She's from Broadway, Virginia. Played for the green of Broadway High School, the Gobblers. I'm sure she's enjoyed the tournament here back in her home area.
Arnold is the batter now. Had a bunt single in her lone plate appearance thus far. Bases are clear for her. Grounds it to short. Serafini has it. And the inning is over, but James Madison continues to score literally every chance they get. The Dukes have scored every time on offense for the entire CAA tournament, this time courtesy of a 2-run homer by Sarah Jubas. It makes it 12-0 at the end of 3. We'll keep it here. Bobby Broyles will talk to, I'm sure, a happy head coach right now, and Lauren Laporte. Bobby?
Championship by purchasing your official gear.
Thanks a lot, guys. Coach, obviously your team's seen the ball very well here early on.
Yeah, I mean, they're sticking to the game plan. You know, we've been talking about it. Let's come out the way we have the last 2 days, and they're doing that. And they're giving CC a breather by making long innings out on offense.
How important is it to jump on Elon this early for CC to stay strong in the circle?
Yeah, we wanted to set the tone early. We knew Elon wanted to come out hungry right here and then scratch and crawling, and it's very important that we come out early.
Coach, what would you like to see from your team here on out to finish this one today?
Scoring every inning. I really want to see that. I don't want to see the pop-ups. I want to see when we get out, it's on good outs and on good balls. So scoring every inning, that's still what we're thinking.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time. All right, back up to you guys.
And that goes back to that simplicity factor. Just scoring every inning.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah, don't make it any more difficult than that.
No need to overdo it. Thank you, Bobby, for that. And thanks to Coach Laporte for her time. Kyle West here in Harrisonburg. 12-0. James Madison leads. And now with the play-by-play the rest of the way, Kurt Dudley.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Do appreciate it. And welcome once again, everyone, as we continue on Championship Friday here in Harrisonburg. To the top of the fourth we go, and the number 2 hitter in the order, it's Serafini, the shortstop, was struck out looking in the first inning by Odyssey Alexander, as she has only faced 10 batters while the Dukes have scored 12 runs, and the first pitch in there for a called strike. The Dukes 7 runs in the first, then 3 in the second, 2 in the third, for 12 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Phoenix, 0-0-1. And Alexander with 5 strikeouts, first time through the order. Odyssey 21-1. A 2-time CAA Player of the Year. And she is a junior. In fact, the only senior on this team is Megan Good. And she's a redshirt senior because she missed all of last year with a knee injury. Fouled off, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's scary for the other coaches around the conference when you look at next year and the future for this Dukes program.
And that's sailed to right field, giving chase and coming on. Not coming up with the catch. She had it in the midst to begin with, but it does fall free. And that is Kelsey Brown in right field, as she has replaced Newton in right. And that means Serafini ends up at second base, and a hit awarded. A long way to go for Brown in right.
Had it in the mitt for just a second, but the contact with the turf jarred it loose, also jarred the sunglasses off the visor, so hard contact with the ground there, not quite able to squeeze it all the way through.
That's the first hit of the ball game for the Phoenix, and it brings up Repko, who popped up in foul ground. Tracked down in foul territory down the left field line by Kate Gordon. She is the Serafini at second base, the second base runner, the only other one, White, who walked to start the second. 2 balls and no strikes to Repko. And time is called. Libby Morris, who played her softball for the Lancers of Longwood, will come out as the pitching coach for the Dukes. And she's going to have a quick conversation. Kirsten Roadcap, the catcher, joins her. And it's interesting, Coach Laporte talking about score every inning. Maybe the other side is Libby Morris saying, don't let them score every inning, or any inning for that matter. Goes Morris back to the dugout.
Yeah, because it's not just this game, it's making sure you keep this going into an NCAA tournament appearance, and I like that. Sometimes you can go a couple different directions with it, but because it's so simple and because the message is clear, never being satisfied and always expecting more from the Dukes has been evident throughout this tournament.
And Repko takes one between the shoulders. That puts 2 runners aboard for the Phoenix for the first time today. And Megan White, the co-player rookie of the year in the Colonial Athletic Association, will get a chance here against Odyssey Alexander for the second time. White walked on. It was a full count and eventually walked to become the first base runner for the Phoenix in this ball game. And Alexander starts her off with a strike. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. It's Alexander and Roadcap. Shiflets at first, Iokas at second, Jubas the shortstop, File at third. Gordon out in left, Arnold in center field, and Kelsey Brown has come on to play right field. That stroked well, but it ends up foul down into the corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. As Maggie Tyler likes to say, just a long strike.
Yeah. Which is easier said than done, but she said it convincingly. I could actually see as a pitcher that she probably said that to herself on a regular basis. Some pitchers will say that, and then in the back of their mind, they're actually thinking, oh no.
Yes.
Maggie said it with enough oomph that I thought, you know what? She said that a lot.
Yeah, she had the conviction of it, yes. And there is a strikeout, number 6 for Alexander. Makes 155 on the year. And Callie Horn, who struck out looking in the second, comes up for the second time. Runners at first and second, just 1 out here in this 4th inning. There's a called strike. Now this not only JMU playing here in this title game against the Phoenix of Elon, but James Madison also represented in the NCAA Women's Lacrosse Championship Tournament, the reigning national champs. Their first crack at it this year is this afternoon at 4 o'clock. They're up at College Park to face the Seawolves of Stony Brook, a neutral site game, and the winner plays again Sunday against the top-ranked seed in the tournament field this year, the Maryland Terrapins. 0-2 on Horn. And swung on and missed. Strikeout back-to-back, and number 7 goes in the book for Alexander. Take a look at it again as she just needs 3 pitches to send Horn back into the dugout. Ashley Fadrell, she had a 2-run homer against the Dukes here in March. And that set the tone for the 5-3 victory.
Alexander has been equal opportunity for everyone today. Those 7 strikeouts, 6 different batters. It's been up and down the lineup. Really no one for the Phoenix has been able to figure her out quite yet.
Fadrell is batting for Goldwait, the first baseman. That's in for the strike. She zips in the fastball at the knees. 1-1. Alexander last year struck out 216 batters in 225 innings pitched. This year she comes in many fewer innings this year, and that's because of Goods' availability this year. There's a swing and a miss. But if you project ahead with Alexander, even returning next year, you might anticipate those kind of numbers, and then maybe it's Peyton Burrish filling in, who is very capable herself. That's line, but foul. Alexander surpassing 450 career strikeouts today with the 7 in the books. Foul back out of play. Another way of looking at Odyssey's year is that the opposition this year batting 172 against her coming into today's game, where as a freshman and as a sophomore, the opposition just a little north of 200. So that's an area that has improved also. Can't hold up, and that's the strikeout. She strikes out the side after yielding a double. Even though a good hustle try defensively for Brown in right field, she couldn't come up with it. Hits Repko, but leaves them both stranding. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 12-0. James Madison over Elon. JMU and Elon going at each other today, and for the CAA championship, you see Drexel, Towson, and the College of Charleston making up the 5-team field. There's kind of the usual. See some folks up on the hillside there. That's 42 running behind them. If you're familiar with the Virginia highways. And leading off for JMU is Madison Nyokas, the second baseman out of Chicago, Illinois. A home run in the first. She backed up Figueroa's grand slam with a solo shot, then popped up to short into actually pretty deep into the left field as Serafini went quite a ways to get to it. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nyokas, all-conference performer at second base. Grounds it to the third baseman, Repko. The former Gobbler tosses her out.
Now batting the third baseman, number 7, Hannah File.
Hannah File started the JMU offense with a home run to lead off the bottom of the first. And she cuts on a changeup and misses for strike 1. Haley Jump in the circle. Third pitcher used for the Phoenix. And a strike 2. That ends up a little low. Brodrell actually stayed in the lineup. She's playing first base. Everybody else in their original positions. And foul tips it into the mid. And they're 2 away. Kate Gordon comes up next. Gordon's been on 1 time, earning her way on with a single. Was on a second time, reaching on an error by the shortstop. So 1 for 3. She is officially today. All-conference left fielder. Gordon batting .443 to the moment, even with a 1 for 3 day. Sails it to right field, and that is caught. And for the first time this tournament, JMU fails to score a run. Still quite the accomplishment. They are only 3 outs away from a CAA title. Come back for the top of the 5th after this on College Sports Live. All right, Odyssey Alexander with 8 strikeouts today. Duke's a pretty complete package. Pitching, offense, defense. And going to the top of the 5th inning, it's the bottom of the order. Clark, Murray, and Reich due up against Odyssey Alexander. And Odyssey has yielded just the 1 hit. And 1 walk has hit a batter also. And that's in for a strike. Clark popped up to shortstop first time up. That was back in the 2nd inning. Dukes have won title games by the run rule before. That's popped up to right field. Brown, 1 down. Up next is Murray. Rebecca Murray with a home run in this tournament. She struck out looking, the 5th strikeout victim of Alexander today. Popped up, and Alexander will take it herself. 2 outs in the 5th. Just 1 more, and the Dukes can celebrate. Mr. File, during a moment of quiet here at the stadium, said everybody's invited back next weekend. That's a very positive statement. 1 out. Here's Reich to try to extend it for the Phoenix of Elon. First pitch inside. It's ball 1. And the RPI, Elon's RPI in the 70s, so don't know how that'll affect JMU's. It's this late in the season. It can't move but so much at this time of the year. Ball 2.
Yeah, the main part of the equation, getting a victory in the first game and not having to add a loss to the record and go to a second game.
Yeah, that also eliminated potentially out of this, as it's ball 3, however. Reich, who was at the top of the order yesterday, here at the number 9 spot, only the 18th batter faced by Alexander. And it's outside for ball 4. So the 2-out walk extends Elon's season a little longer.
Now batting the left fielder, number 1,
Tia Mitchell, who was 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop-up. Due up next. Couple of conversations taking place as road cap going out. That might be just one of those, CC, take a deep breath. You know, settle down. She did that yesterday with Megan Good early in the contest. First pitch to Mitchell, in for the called strike.
Now the road cap goes unnoticed, but when you have so many quality pitchers, they often get the accolades and recognition. Somebody has to be back there working with all of those pitchers and doing a good job behind the plate. Road cap has certainly done that.
She might be your unsung hero when it comes down to it. 0-2 to Mitchell. Odyssey Alexander in the circle for the Dukes. Here comes the pitch. Strike 3, and the Dukes are the 2019 CAA softball champions. Their 5th title in CAA play, and their 4th since 2014, as the dog pile in a very tempered fashion takes place. They're experienced at it. They know, don't hurt anyone. You've still got more softball to play. And a dominant performance here in this tournament as the Dukes put up 33 runs in 12 1/3 innings of play to win this title. And I don't know that there's ever been such a dominant team to go through the tournament the way the Dukes have. That's a little research didn't get a chance to do. I don't know that anyone has gone through the tournament with nothing but run rule victories. It does go back a few years.
And not just the runs and hits for JMU's side, but how about 3 games only allowed 1 total run on 6 total hits for the 3 games. So it truly was a complete performance in all facets throughout the tournament.
So many times words can be overused. Dominant is one of those, I think, in my opinion. But the Dukes dominated the All-Conference Awards, and they dominated here this week at Veterans Memorial Park. Allie Repko, the local product from Elon, former Broadway Gobbler. Meeting there with Coach, I say Coach, Commissioner Joey D. He's the coach of the CAA. Also, it is White, Megan White of Elon, the co-rookie of the year. I have a feeling this won't be her first or last honor, I should say. Abby Barker pitched very well last night. Couldn't replicate that this morning, but a very big competitor for the Phoenix. And they get her back as a redshirt senior. All right, Kate Gordon of JMU. She was one of the Dukes that did not go yard today, so Sarah Jubas went yard not once but twice in today's affair. Tied her career high with 6 RBIs. Megan Good picking up the victory yesterday, the 118th of her career.
Recognized for her outstanding play throughout the championship, the 2019
The most outstanding player
most outstanding player from James Madison
is from JMU, Odyssey Alexander. Odyssey picking up today's win, 2 victories in the tournament. Today she had a double at the plate, walked and scored 2 runs. And she ended up hitting about 380 for, well, she came out of it hitting 380 for the season. For second runner-up there is the Phoenix of Elon. Yeah, Alexander was actually 4 for 7 at the plate. And the 2019 CAA champions, asking Coach Laporte and the captains to go up and to accept the trophy. And there are quite a few captains on this team. They say, oh, come on, the whole team. Well, when there are 9 all-conference players on a team that's been as dominant as this has, who do you choose?
You're absolutely right. It's a team effort that allows for 3 decisive victories like this and such a strong run throughout the year. 47-7 record doesn't happen just because of a couple individuals. It is up and down the entire roster.
As they hoist the trophy here at Veterans Memorial Park. Megan Good, the tallest of the Dukes, and she's got it out there. She's sort of like the Empire State Building there in the back, as the Dukes will have one of many portraits taking place here this afternoon. And with the early game, they'll have a lot of daytime to celebrate this championship. You see Megan in the back. Redshirted all of last year, and she will make it to the NCAA tournaments, to the tournament for really the 5th time. She did get a chance to go last year, although couldn't participate as a player. But how many players can say that? Also at the mid-major level, too, quote unquote.
Yeah, she's going to walk away with a bio that'll read more like a novel.
That is true.
She has 4, as you said, only the 2nd player ever in the conference to be a 4-time recipient of the award, and then now you go to 5 NCAA tournaments. I mean, these things, as you said, are unheard of, and in some cases almost mathematically impossible, but she's been able to experience a lot in her career.
Let's hope it was water. I would rather have water than Gatorade. Just
absolutely.
The post feel of that would not be quite as good with the Gatorade. And here she comes on over. Of course, it's not a bad day here to cool down, but man, I tell you what, for the Dukes, as hot as they were offensively, it may take a Gatorade bath to cool them down. Let's take it down there to field level, that is, with Bobby Broyles.
Thanks a lot, Kurt, here with Coach Laporte. Coach, first off, congratulations. Just overall impressive performance, not just today, but throughout the week from your team.
Yeah, really happy for them. I want to give a shout out to my coaching staff. They worked so hard on getting this team ready. Coach Herzig, Coach Morris, and Coach Souter. So I just want to give them a shout out to all the hard work they've done in getting this team ready. But super proud of our offense for coming out and scoring 7 runs in the first inning.
A lot of coaches don't like to reflect in the past, but I believe you let this team do that this year as part of motivation of what happened last year, and it really seemed to have fueled them here this week.
Yeah, everybody needs a little fuel, right? So, I just didn't want them to forget and take it easy and think, that we could get it done just right away, and I just wanted them to have something in the back of their mind to be hungry.
Obviously, you guys not just winning a CAA championship, heading back to the NCAAs, and also trying to make a statement to host a regional. that opportunities now. What would your statement be to the committee right now to be able to have more games here at home?
Yeah, I mean, we played a hard preseason schedule, and I feel like we proved, ourselves early in the season against the top 25 teams. But, whatever happens, happens. Our team is in a good place right now, and wherever we go, I feel like we'll do a good job.
All right, Coach. Well, congratulations. Go celebrate with your team. All right, Kurt, back to you.
All right, Bobby Broyles, thank you very much, and thanks, Bobby. He does a lot of behind-the-scenes work to keep us going here.